we kick off?
You usually do the kickoff.
I usually do. You did it last time, and it threw me. So I didn't know where to go from there. So welcome to How Much for Just the Podcast. My name's Damo.
And I'm Mick.
And this week we've got a special guest. We've got a host of Talking Puffy.
A long time ago.
Or host of Adam Richard Has a Theory.
Yes.
That may give away the name of the guest that we're introducing.
Yes,
it's Adam Richard.
Mr. Theory.
Mr. Theory.
Coincidentally, the name of our favourite bar.
Yes,
oh, really?
Theory is our favourite bar, yes.
That's exciting.
Pay us now, please.
On screen. Make it so. On screen. Come. Stand by for source of separation. What is it you want, Q? What is it you want, Q? Agreed, number one. What is it,
I think our first guest, or even host, with a surname.
Oh.
Yeah, well, pretty much. Like everything else has been like mixed kid, heiress. And we've got like Damo's housemate Kaylee.
Well, I'm honoured to be here. I'm excited to be doing this.
Thanks for being on.
A start. Now, do you give away when you record it? Because isn't it technically Star Trek Day today?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, we do and we don't. Like last time we recorded was like the day after Ray Gun went viral on the internet. So we spent a lot of the episode talking about that.
I've already planned for the Where Are They Now episode.
I'm just
which we could probably put together in about a month.
Yeah, totally.
I'm waiting for the Halloween costume.
It's huge apparently.
Yeah,
it's the Ray Gun costume is selling out already, and there's
because it's just a commercially available tracksuit.
It's just a tracky. And there was like a convention, like I don't know if it was like a Comic Con or like one of those in the US where there was like 24 people dressed as Ray Gun, and they were all in a circle doing the break doing the break dancing moves that she was doing, and it was yeah.
I would love someone to do a Ray Gun costume where they wear the legs at the top and have like a little fake head hanging out the bottom, as if their feet are their hands.
That's marvelous. If that showed up on AliExpress, I would buy it.
You would, yeah. That along with the bloody drilling rig that you found, the tunneling.
So
anyway,
before I forget, let me just say, we got mail not the other day, but before the previous episode, we got mail. We got. We just wanted to do a formal shout out in the context of the podcast. We've done a little outtake video on YouTube of the actual unboxing.
Yeah. Is it on YouTube or is that on Patreon?
It's on YouTube, but just want to say formally thank you to Diane for posting us the Shipbuilders Union t-shirts. Diane visited the birthplace of Captain Kirk.
Yeah. Oh wow!
And sent us Federation shipyard
t-shirts and a little coaster with the picture on it.
Cute.
Yeah. So if anyone else wants to send us anything electronically or otherwise,
send me presents. That's good. Yes.
justthepod@prettygrouse.com is an email address where we
or
can
cash.
Yeah.
You can't ask people for cash. That's what Patreon's for.
I mean, we do have Patreon, so
It's secretly just asking for cash.
Pretty much, yeah. It's not so secret. You may have noticed. Subtlety is out the window.
We're trying so hard to sell out.
Just want the opportunity to sell out one time, and I'll be happy. Anyway, so we actually came here to talk about Star Trek. Remember that show?
Oh yeah, look, let's get around to that at some. Like this, my podcast is the same. Adam Richard Has a Theory. It's like I do it 5 times a week.
Yeah,
like it's a daily podcast, 10 minutes a day, and I'm meant to be talking about Doctor Who.
Yep.
And I think maybe 30 to 60 seconds an episode.
Like we go off on tangents all the time. Like we've spent a lot of time talking about Doctor Who because the conceit of this stupid show that we do is that we're watching it in in-universe chronological order.
Oh, right.
The order that only makes sense if you've seen it all before.
Right.
So we're now up to past tense, Deep Space Nine.
Which is the last episode set in the past that we'll be watching.
Yes.
Although when they made it, it was the future.
It was.
Yeah.
But it's the past for us.
Yeah, for
Technically,
us. Yeah, because
technically only like 2 days past.
Yeah.
At
this
time
week.
of recording. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
we did Picard season 2 live at the comedy festival because Picard season 2 occurred during the comedy festival.
Oh wow!
And so which is why Jean-Luc didn't show up.
Yeah.
He was busy.
He was very busy. He was in Guinan's bar.
Yeah, totally. Just wasting everyone's time. That's the other reason why we wanted to do it as a live show, is so we didn't have to do like every episode. We could just go, "Yep, this is all season 2. It's done now. We're never talking about Picard season 2 again."
Oh, I loved season 2 of Picard for very strange reasons.
What was the strange?
Well, because look, I've long fantasized about one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who, which I know a lot of people hate, is the Sarunga Conundrum, because it's technically Grey's Anatomy in space.
I'll go with that.
And Picard season 2 spent a lot of time in that clinic. I'm like, oh, it's Grey's Anatomy in space. But they just haven't gone anywhere.
It's not in space, but it's technically it's a space show.
Had space people in Grey's Anatomy.
I mean, that was the same like with the previous episode, Carpenter Street, the Enterprise one, which was like CSI Enterprise.
Oh, I would be totally into CSI in Grey's Anatomy in space.
Smash everything together like a massive, like a child getting Play-Doh and mashing the different colors together to see what comes out.
I started watching, I can never remember the name of it because it's prosaic, but that one with Alan Tudyk and he's the alien who comes to Earth.
The
Resident Alien.
Resident Alien, yeah.
So I started watching that because it was kind of advertised as Law and Order meets ER.
That is not what the show
Alien,
is
and
at
it's
all.
absolutely not.
Wasn't that Alien Nation back in the day?
Oh yeah, that was was like a police
sort of,
alien.
Yeah,
show.
the guy with his alien partner.
Yeah,
yeah, that was good. I mean, I remember the movie being good.
Yeah.
And
there was a
TV
good
series I don't remember a thing about.
Yeah.
No, I watched it. I'm old. I remember it.
About the same.
But no, I remember enjoying that because I just want to see regular genres but in space.
Yeah. That's space tradies.
Yeah,
that's just like workplace nonsense.
We've got a camera. We should probably.
Oh yeah, show off your book.
We should be doing the placement.
Yeah.
Product placement of the book.
What was the other police procedural that was like iRobot, the series that had
with Carl Urban.
Yeah,
that wasn't very good.
I quite liked it. I didn't mind it.
I liked it for a little while, but it started to get like the same every week. Yeah. And you're like,
it was repetitive at the end, so it really only needed one season. But I quite liked it. What was that one? Almost Human?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, and they had that guy with those really piercing
blue eyes.
And you're like, ooh.
I haven't seen that one.
Haven't you?
No.
Oh no,
it was good.
It was good.
And then it wasn't. Like that, like Alien Romulus. It's like, oh, this is really good.
I haven't seen it yet, so no spoilers.
That's not a spoiler. It's really good until it isn't.
It isn't. Oh, that's disappointing. It does not stick the landing, is what you're saying.
For about half of it, no. But you'll enjoy it for a while. As soon as it starts to annoy you, just leave.
Yeah.
I was planning on this being the one I saw in the cinema because just for the moment, like I just can't believe I've got the opportunity to see an alien film in the cinema.
Oh yeah,
which has not been a thing.
I went
for a
to
while.
see it at the IMAX.
Yeah, I went and saw. What was the last one? Alien. The Prometheus sequel.
Yeah.
Oh
yes. Covenant. I saw that in the cinemas, and that. I shouldn't have seen that in the cinemas.
Oh no, that was good in the cinemas.
I dig those. I really dig the Prometheus stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know the reason that was good in the cinema is because it's good to be with a room full of people all laughing at one fingering joke, which I don't think was meant to be a joke at the time.
but it's funny.
Yeah.
This is why I regret that I never got to see Cats in the cinema.
Oh man, that was a lot.
I just had it described to me as like, too late. It's like you should go and see Cats in the cinema because you're never
going to see this sort of train wreck.
To see this kind of thing going this wrong on this kind of scale in a cinema.
You will. You could have could have gone to see that one with Jamie Lee Curtis and Kate Blanchett. That's the same thing.
Which one was that?
The Borderlands movie.
Oh yeah, no, it's
yeah. We were discussing that off mic.
Might have obtained that less than legally. Didn't see it in the cinemas, but have obtained a copy. It was fun.
I work with a guy who did a podcast where they watched Cats over and over again. And it was horrific, and then they hosted like a live screening.
Oh wow.
For people who'd gotten into it. It's Ben Elwood and my brain has gone. Anyway.
Release the butthole cut.
Release the butthole cut. Yes, absolutely. Get that. the guy who
Rebel
had to go
Wilson
back and
licking her own ass.
And I'm not going to go there. But
Was that the audition?
What was the other terrible? What was the other terrible? The Atlas Shrugged that you wanted to do a live viewing of.
Yeah, like the Ayn Rand thing.
Yeah. Because there was the trilogy. They did the
They made the trilogy.
They made the trilogy. And every movie they couldn't, the budget went down a notch because they couldn't get the same cast because they like, it was just hilarious that they made all 3 movies in this trilogy and every point the free market was telling them to stop.
The irony. Yeah, I love it. Oh, the delicious irony.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it. I want to see these movies. But I don't. I'm not.
You don't want the algorithm to know.
I don't even want to be judged by the Pirate Bay.
See, this is the joy of my job. I work on Hard Quiz as a senior writer, so my algorithm is a mess.
Yeah,
because I have to like people come on our show with the most ridiculous topics, and then I've got to look them up.
You got to look up for the right. The like, questions.
You like the things that the algorithm thinks I want to buy. I'm like, no, I don't actually like this. It's not my thing, but sure, send me some tractors.
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
awesome.
you get some of that for some of our previous quiz questions.
Oh, I absolutely do.
We did a very low budget quiz for a comedy festival.
We did that had very obscure questions that I was the question writer on that.
It's hard, isn't it?
It's not easy.
No.
But like most of it was just like me info dumping about stupid shit that I know. About like this scientist Joe Davis who like built a laser that he shot at tornadoes, not to stop them, just to say, fuck you, nature. And he beamed the sound of the vaginal contractions of the Boston's ballet into space.
I don't even understand what that sentence means.
Like,
no, I understand all the things in the sentence.
Recorded the sound of it.
No, I get it, but I don't understand it.
The best, the reason why he did it, you know why he did it?
No.
Because fuck Carl Sagan.
Okay.
That's why. That was literally his reason.
Is Carl up there listening?
I don't know. The man's a mental case.
I love that. I love that he's started with a really wonky premise, but he's like, I'm still going to see it through.
Yeah.
Welcome to our podcast.
He's like 50% artist, 50% like just.
He's part of this like performance art. You can do anything and call it performance art.
He's technically a science.
Like if you're a comedian, you don't get laughs. You can call that performance art.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
We should pivot.
That's why you do Melbourne Fringe and not Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Star Trek.
Oh my God, that's right. We came here for a reason.
Well, no, this is great. It was like we thought like this is one of the best episodes that we've had so far.
It's so good. Like I watched it over the last few days, and it's as good as I remember.
Yeah.
Except I don't remember the excuse for going back in time being as bad as it was.
Yeah. Just chronotons in the transporter.
They didn't even
What about
try.
the invisible singularity?
Yeah. It's just that happened to be there. Okay. All right.
Yeah, they didn't even try. And look, fair call. Like,
it's fine.
Whatever they do is going to be made up crap anyway.
Yeah,
I know.
They might as well just
the hand waviness.
Oh no, I just think what didn't do it for me was O'Brien cottoning on and going, well, obviously now I can figure it out. I've got this idea. He could have just like I could have just as easily bought like weird shit happened. I don't know.
I suspect like Cole Meany's performance felt like he'd just been told.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, we realized we haven't explained this properly. So look, here's your new dialogue, and it's like, oh, not new pages. I never sound convincing when I do new pages.
Oh man. He's our absolute hero.
He is so good.
There was an interview he did not long ago that was like he was on some show, and they said, all the dialogue, all the techno babble, because you were basically the engineer of that show. Like, did it ever make you feel stupid? And he's just gone, do you feel stupid in that hat?
Well, you know what happened was apparently I remember reading a thing that Terry Farrell had a lot of trouble with the technobabble, so they kept having to give it to O'Brien. Like he'd have to wander into a scene to explain the things that she was meant to know because she's the science officer. But like she didn't sound convincing when she was doing technobabble. So they're like, look, we love her as an actor. We love the character. We just won't make her do this thing that she's bad at.
I mean, like, Scotty never had much techno-babble in the original series. Like, he's just holding it together with chicken wire and string.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's fine. I don't, like, I'm in a technical job. I don't explain, in terminology ones. I just tell people, look, it's fucked and I'm handling it.
It's not working.
Shit's fucked. Give me a minute. It won't be fucked anymore.
Yeah.
Go away.
That's
Yeah. But no, O'Brien's, and like the whole reason that the Defiance left normal when the rest of the Federation gets deleted because
that was
like it's just like because reasons.
They could have said quantum entanglement, and I would have been like, oh, cool, they're entangled with them.
Yeah.
So they're stuck in their own universe. That's fine. But then they're just like, oh no, we were in a subspace bubble. Like, there's always a subspace bubble.
I would have liked it if they'd actually skipped. I mean, I know they needed something for the other characters to do to be actively involved.
True.
But if they'd not done that, you never would have answered the question, was Cisco always Gabriel Bell or not?
Yeah.
Because by deleting the Federation, doing that time thing, they established that originally he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
He has actually stepped in
and
replaced
he's
the guy.
changed stuff.
If they hadn't done that, it would have always been ambiguous. You would have always gone, maybe he was always Gabriel Bell. We will
also,
never know.
I didn't love the alleged comic relief of going to different eras and freaking out the locals
the piece
in the Paramount backlot.
Oh my God,
that was the Paramount backlot.
Got a real workout.
It really did. Like, I read in the trivia, like, this is the first time they've used it since like the middle of TNG, like season 3 or something. So they really got their use out of it. Just to go, and we're going to redress it as this. Okay, fine.
and the guy doing the hippie walking like he's doing a cartoon.
Oh yeah,
it's so weird.
It was a very odd
doing
choice.
Visual jokes on an audio podcast.
I'm enjoying it.
Great.
apparently that like in the backlot scene, when they go to like the 1940s, the 1930s one, there's a poster in the background of a boxing match. That's the same poster of the boxing match as was in City on the Edge of Forever.
Oh wow!
Nice. So, like Michael Okuda just wanted to put that in.
Deep nerd. I love that about him.
He's just magnificent. So he wanted to put that in just to say, well, the Deep Space Nine crew could have been there at the same time as Kirk and go. Like.
Imagine if Miles, if I'm being done that, I would have put Miles in the car that ran over Edith.
just a snake eating its own tail. Edith was a Starfleet officer as well. Fuck it.
Poor Edith.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, she ended up being a Nazi, but poor Edith.
Yeah.
Jim could have saved her.
Jim could have saved her. From being a Nazi or just in general?
Oh, just in general.
Just in general.
Yeah. She would have been a better person with him around.
Yeah.
Could have got.
There is kind of like, I feel like there's a bit of overlap with this episode and that episode in that it's like, oh, I now have to insert myself into history. Like,
it's very much there's a homage to it.
Like
plot-wise.
This is their first mention of there being any kind of like temporal directives from Starfleet. Like, this is the first time they ever mentioned Starfleet has given us instructions. If you find yourself displaced in time, put your head.
Don't do shit wrong.
Don't be Kirk.
Kirk, even if those rules existed with Kirk would have looked at them and just gone, fuck it.
Does it involve me having sex with a nice lady? Then no, I'm not doing that.
No. Predestination paradox, baby.
I'm my own grandpa.
This is not Jadzia's first trip back.
No.
She knows what to do. She knows how to fish for information without giving anything away. This is not the first time she's woken up.
Yeah.
And had to figure out what year it was.
Yeah.
She was the most competent one. It's just like, have you been jacked? What?
That sounds like an unfortunate thing. Sure, let's roll with it.
She was just, that night at the symposium must have been huge. I don't remember any of it.
But also the Dax symbiont might actually have been around.
Probably, yeah.
One of the previous hosts was an improv comic. He's just like I'm just going to yes and until I figure out what's going on.
Yes, and my way into the rich person's fucking house. So I mean, it helps. Computer.
It helps that she's stunning. Like, I love that they ran with that. They've gone, okay, we've hired the most attractive woman on the face of the earth to play this alien.
Yeah.
Let's really lean into it.
Yeah. And like Ira Stephen Bear, like he did say that like it was a subtle commentary that the attractive lady got looked after, whereas the two brown blokes just get chucked into the fucking open air prison.
Yeah,
that's subtle. Yeah, very subtle, Ira. Thanks.
Well, I mean, for the time it was. Yeah. Like, I remember watching this when it happened. Although I think it was when I used to buy the $20 VHSs before they came on the telly.
Oh God, yes.
those were the days. I had a big collection.
Do you remember getting friends in the US to post you VHS tapes?
I never did that. No, I wish I had.
That's how I saw the first episodes of Voyager.
Oh wow!
I got the NTSC tape posted by VHS from friends in the US, and we had this precious little gem, and we go around to like the friend's place who could play NTSC on their thing, and was like, we've got.
I did that with Enterprise. I went to like a gay science fiction club, and they'd managed to get their hands on it. Isn't that just a science
fiction club?
I think it was just like somewhere people went to hook up.
Isn't that just a science fiction?
Watch Star Trek and then bum. But yeah, it was, and they'd gotten a hold of Enterprise, which everyone was very excited about because they had a Diane Warren song in it.
Oh, my. The priorities. Oh, it's better than Russell Watson.
It's very different.
I remember having
we should try that version for karaoke next time.
Which should we? Should we? I don't think so.
That was how we ended Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
We did Faith of the Heart karaoke at the Exford. That was.
Oh my God.
It was about 2 a.m.
It was just like. That very much drew a line under the whole.
Oh my God!
Just like, find the video on YouTube and then destroy it.
Now it's time to go home.
I think just doing karaoke at the Exford is time to go home.
Yeah, pretty much. As instead, like I was there till like 6 a.m. in the morning till close.
It's
you and Diane left.
Yeah, we got a cab fairly late, just like we called it.
Yeah. No, I was there till stupid o'clock in the morning. So you could not have been.
See, you've got you're probably making the excuse like, well, I can pretty much walk home from here. Like, well, you're not like I need to get a taxi, I need to get a train type thing.
It's technically within walking distance, but I couldn't walk.
No, I realize that, but it's like I know if I had that in my head, I would keep making excuses.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't have there's nothing scheduled that I need to organize.
Yeah.
I know that at any moment I could, if I needed to, just roll downhill until I ended up vaguely near my front door.
Yeah.
I once was at the Exford until I don't know when, and then ended up somewhere else, less salubrious.
That happened.
Less.
And then got a call at like, I don't know, it was like 11 a.m. Asking if I was coming to this uni gig in the afternoon that I was meant to be at, like then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the worst one at the Exford for me is like, I still don't like at the Exford, having beers, everything going well, scene missing, I'm arm wrestling Chris Franklin.
Oh, if you're at the Exford, I think you have to.
It's a rite of passage.
Chris took me as his support act to do a tour of Tasmania when his single Bitch was in the charts, when it was illegal to be gay in Tasmania.
I remember that.
Oh.
And I was like, you are the best. I love you. This is so much fun. It was awesome.
I have fond memories of the tail end of that era because like it was so unenforced. There was a point where like couples were walking into police stations and handing over signed confessions.
Yeah.
And the police were just going, go away, please. Yeah. Just like we're not.
Because it was, all it was just like, just take it off the books.
Yeah. And the whole idea is like people walking in with signed confessions to police stations was just like that was objectively hilarious.
Weirdly, it went from being completely illegal to having the most advanced laws before marriage equality that you could sign over your superannuation to your gay partner. Like that was nowhere else could you do that.
Flip.
Yeah, and that was nuts.
Maybe that's what you get for holding back for so long. Is like you
all the progress at once.
Yeah. It's like
all of it, and now we stop for the next 50 years. No more.
Yeah, we get
enough progress for you.
We get one progress every 20 years.
Speaking of Tasmania, why did that guy want to go to Tasmania?
Because Errol Flynn was from there.
That's right. He's from Tasmania.
Like he was a fan of Errol Flynn. I guess.
I did. That kind of felt like a weird bit of prescience because, apparently a lot of very wealthy people are buying up land in Tasmania.
Oh, really?
Because it's thought to be one of the only places on Earth that is going to be vaguely habitable after the climate crisis.
So they're all building the billionaire bunkers there.
Yeah, kind
of.
of.
Just digging it into the side of the mountains and...
Oh my God, there's a hell of a premise for a sci-fi series.
Yeah. Billionaire Island.
Billionaire Island, and it's Tasmania.
I quite like Tasmania. I don't want to wish that on them. Why
I know.
Yeah,
it's beautiful there.
Although they're shutting down that dairy. Anyway,
There's a dairy.
King Island Dairy.
King Island Dairy's shutting down because the Canadian owner doesn't want to run it anymore, and couldn't find a buyer.
Oh, that's
so get your King Island cheese while you still can.
It's great cheese.
It's good cheese.
That is.
I don't know why it's not profitable. But it's I don't know. Anyway,
I'm nearly not here because of King Island. There's like a mate of mine.
That is a weird sentence.
An old mate of mine is like he used to be into he used to crew yachts and things.
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
like
yeah.
he was a
Like
sailor.
on below decks.
No. He was like he was like one of the guys who in the Sydney to Hobart. They do the Sydney to Hobart yacht race, and then they'd hire people to take the yachts back to Sydney.
Yeah.
And he
because the billionaires don't want to fight.
Yeah, exactly. It's we've done the race.
We've done it one way.
We've done the race bit. I was like, I'm not going to pee in a bucket again. But they'd have all these crews who'd just hire up and just sail things back. And he used to do that. And he was sailing. He'd restore boats. And he had a little wooden yacht of his own. It was down in St Kilda. It was called Equinox. It was a little thing. It was a lovely little. It was a nice little thing. But we used to get very, very drunk sometimes out,
Sensing
out there.
a pattern here.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a theme of the episode, and I don't know. Anyway,
but there was one night.
I feel like I'm enabling it. I haven't been drunk in 11 years, but
one night we were absolutely convinced that we wanted Irish coffees, and we came up with the plan that we were going to sail to King Island to get some cream.
No,
that's not a good plan.
That was easier than the 7-Eleven.
All I can say is it made sense at the time.
Drunk logic is so berserk.
But I think the thing was we didn't have much diesel in the engine to get out of the the marina and thing. It was exactly. So
I remember once in my misspent youth, and I misspent enough for about 6 people. I rather than call a locksmith because I locked myself out of my house. I lived in this 2-story flat in Drummond Street in Carlton. I just thought it would be easier to climb up the outside of the building like Spider-Man and climb in through my window that was slightly open.
It's so easy when he does it. It looks so easy. It's.
I mean, I did it. I was 19. I was very thin. I could fit through a window in those days. Now I'd need a crane to get me even off the ground.
I don't think I could climb.
I mean, some of those old places out there actually have the little thing sticking out with the hook for the rope. Don't they have for the pulley?
Oh, maybe.
What?
Oh no, this place was built in the 80s.
Oh, okay. So it's not it's not one of the historic old ones. No, just there's some places in Kelowna have still got the old grain lift.
Oh, so you could
thing,
so you could get the piano up to the top floor.
That kind of stuff. There's still some of those jutting out here and there.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't live anywhere good.
No.
I think I've only ever seen those in cartoons where they're dropping a piano on someone.
Yeah. Oh, it's in my living in Carlton phase, I lived next door to the lead singer of Things of Stone and Wood. That's my
claim to fame.
That's the closest we get.
It's your 6 degrees of Stone and Wood.
Well, Helen from Happy Birthday Helen, the song, borrowed my egg beater once.
Oh, yay!
To make a birthday cake.
Ooh, fun time.
Yeah, I got cred. I'm part of the scene,
Down with the hip youth. Look at you, God.
Well, in the 90s, I was a hip youth.
In the 90s, I was barely a teenager.
So long ago.
I know. What is time?
What is it? I
you know what else happened in the 90s? The Bell Riots.
The Bell Riots. No, they were in 2024.
They happened this year.
No, they made the show.
They made the show about the Bell
90s,
Riots.
that's
Yeah,
true.
it was a magnificent segue back to what
It was an
supposed to
attempt.
be.
It was like,
I know.
Well done.
No.
It's appreciated, but also it was
But
clumsy.
If you do it as a segue, then you got to leave the whole thing in to fit it in.
Exactly.
That's why sometimes I'll just go, anyway. Anyway is my favorite segue.
We started doing the Star Trek bleepy bloops, like
The little communicator
like
shit.
yeah.
They used to send me to sleep. I could be watching one of my $20 VHSs and be like,
Just have it on in the background.
Oh, you wouldn't believe some of the creative editing. I was like, I've just changed reality of what happened in the podcast a few times by just swapping bits around. And it's like, and this sentence, intersects with the sentence 30 minutes later, and it's like, no,
I was
no.
AI for an entire episode. See if you can pick which one.
I've had to do that weird creative editing. I do a podcast called Me, I Am a Memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, about her memoir, which is called The Meaning of Mariah Carey. And recently, I don't know how it came up, but it had a problematic gestation period where we were saying, oh, we're going to have to cut this out. And then we started talking about that Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman movie.
Yeah.
And how he maybe had a fleshlight made out of the skin that was left over when she got her last facelift.
Oh, God.
But I wanted to leave that bit in because it was funny. But the problematic beginning, I had to do some chippity choppy, very creative chippity choppy. Anyway, now I've said it on 3 different podcasts.
Yeah, excellent.
I need everyone to be just as scarred by this idea than I am.
No, that's going to keep me up at night. That's horrific.
If your link works, your link works. You've got to have it. You've got to have
If your link works. Yeah. We talking about Zac Efron? No, sorry. Well, I've never heard it called a link before.
Is that the
Does
great
his link work?
Is that the Great Link? Odo's.
No,
I don't know.
No. You're not doing the segue very well today.
And occasionally that one. Occasionally they just get thrown away.
Yeah,
that one's gone.
Anyway, Star Trek.
Star Trek. The Bell Riots.
The Bell Riots. The impetus of which was to go to Tasmania.
Impetus was Tasmania because old mate. I've forgotten the character's name.
BC or something.
Yeah, BC or something. Apparently, a bit of trivia that I read was most of the characters are named after either actors or characters from the Magnificent Seven.
Oh wow!
So you've got Brenner was named after Yul Brynner. His name's Chris Brenner, and Yul Brynner played a character called Chris in the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
And a bunch of others. Anyway.
So you just blew my mind because I remember noticing I don't know if you noticed when we were having lunch earlier there was a poster for the Magnificent Seven on the wall.
I was gonna bring it up then, but then I thought I'd save it for the podcast. And here we are.
I was only looking at that poster going, oh, what? They should do a sci-fi adaptation of the Magnificent Seven.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, the Magnificent Ferengi. Oh, Iggy Pop. That was the episode Iggy Pop was in. Apparently, Iggy Pop was supposed to be the lunatic character in part 2.
The Clint Howard.
Clint Howard.
Oh.
He was supposed to be Clint Howard, but he wasn't available at the time, so they got Clint Howard to do it.
I love that Clint Howard has been in just about every iteration of Star
series,
Trek.
almost. Was he in TNG? Anyway, but he was in Strange New Worlds recently too.
Oh,
so.
really?
Yeah. He was an admiral or something. No, he was on the ground in that episode where the Doctor and Nurse Chapel were taking the drugs to make him super soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
He was in that episode. Yeah,
that's right.
I liked that episode.
I like all of the Strange New Worlds
Yeah.
episodes.
I don't like what Captain Daddy's posting on the internet now, but I do like Strange.
Really? I love Captain Daddy.
Yeah,
Space Daddy's my favorite.
Yeah, Captain Daddy's a bit doubtful about genocide in Palestine.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah. Oh, go good. Just keep him in your mind from the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's an actor, not Space Daddy. Space Daddy's a real person.
Space Daddy. We can still ship Space Daddy. It's fine. I was watching a quiz, the Star Trek, the Trekspert quiz, and one of the questions was about the Admiral.
Oh yeah.
From Discovery, like, what's his first name? And my immediate reaction was Daddy. Admiral Daddy, that's his name.
Admiral Daddy from The Mummy.
Yeah, exactly. That's his name forever.
Hot Admiral Daddy from The Mummy. I'm all over Hot Admiral Daddy from The Mummy.
And this, I'm the straight one. Like I'm the cishet, and even I can't. You can't. Like no one's that straight.
No, not for Space Daddy.
No, not for Space Daddy.
No.
Admiral Daddy.
It's a sexuality, Space Daddy.
Space Daddy. That's it. It's just it. Like it's just it. Are you human? Then you're attracted to Space Daddy.
Yeah.
You've got a pulse. Congratulations.
If you're not human, 50-50 chance.
Yeah. Anyway,
I love that they finally cast someone as a starship captain where you go, yeah, I believe people would want to have sex with them. Whereas a lot of them, you're like, really? Yeah. This many people with that one?
Yeah.
I mean,
Shatner's wig.
Yeah, I mean, poor Janeway. She just had to cop off with a couple of holograms.
Yeah. Delete the wife.
She got some salamander time.
She did get some salamander time. Yeah. Bless her. I do love that there was no problematic sexual politics in 2024, which was a surprise.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they just didn't have time to show it.
Yeah, maybe.
Like they were focused on one particular issue rather than, we're not going to do everything in one episode. Like that. We've only got a limited amount of time.
It would have been better if I'd done that bit,
Probably.
Get an actual watch on.
It's a podcast. So
no one can see.
It's going to be audio. You can do that clip for the bloody for the Hi Patreon fans. Fan, one of them. Whoever that is.
No, I think we got 3 now.
Oh, 3.
Oh,
good Lord, we've tripled our viewership.
We could publicise it more.
We probably should.
No,
we're bad at marketing. We're
terrible at marketing.
Publicity's not it's not worth the paper it's printed on.
Yeah.
And it's all digital.
Nobody prints it on paper anymore.
Exactly.
People barely print money on paper.
Oh, except ABC Publicity. They like to print out a meme and hand it around.
Just comes through on the fax machines. I get that.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh.
I'll pop that in my drawer, in my in tray.
Yeah. There was some, when I worked at Monash University back in, it would have been the year 2000, the guy who was normally the director of computing in the department had this habit. Like if you emailed him, he would print out the email, write his reply on the piece of paper and put it in your pigeonhole in the office.
Oh, that's cute.
And at the time I mocked him. Now I believe he did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Now I believe, no, he saw more clearly than any of us.
Like you can't change this with your little computer business. My handwriting.
A friend of mine had a job for an accountant firm that her entire job was just converting documents to PDF. And she got paid very well for it.
Like save as.
Pretty
that
much.
Was her job.
That was her
save
job.
As.
Like it's like they'd email her like the Word document. Can you convert this to PDF? And it's like, yes.
Sure. It's a pull down menu at the end.
Like in the time that you've emailed it, and she's emailed it back. You could have done this. It's
I know.
But anyway, that's just
yeah.
That's one of my favorite Star Trek memes. I think it's Worf, just like kind of, that one where he's like looking really frustrated. And it just says someone who gets paid more than you asking if you can save something as a PDF.
Yep. It's my favorite at the moment is the Darmok and Jalad, but like it's referencing actual memes. It's like DiCaprio pointing.
That's funny.
It's yeah. That's been amusing me mostly.
What was the one that keeps sticking for me? Oh, yeah, like, Bush on the deck, his banner unfurled.
Yeah, that one.
I would have loved if whenever they got on their gigantic internet machine,
yes,
in past tense, that like at first they were like laughing at memes and then going, oh no, we should actually do the thing. Contact the outside world. before we cycle through 4,000 pages of Instagram here.
Yeah. The desk-sized computer with a screen about that big.
I know. It was so good. To hide the fact that it was
the interface,
a cathode ray tube in the back.
Literally had the curved front.
It's so cute.
I think that's the thing they always messed up in all the early Star Trek. It's like no one ever predicted the changes in aspect ratio.
No, that is true. I mean, they did have a video call. They had a conversation, but the person talking to, when they were talking to the police captain woman, they didn't have their own little picture that they were spending more time looking at than her. Well, that's what everyone does. They're like, oh, look at my hair. Oh, you talking? Sorry.
Just making sure you're not pulling weird faces when someone says something stupid. No, I can't look like that.
I can't look like I actually feel during this conversation. They can see me.
Can everyone turn their cameras on, please? I like to see your faces. Fuck off.
Oh
no.
I know I told you before we started recording. I was a 53-year-old undergraduate student, and the first couple of years were during lockdown, and I was the only one with their camera on.
Yeah.
Like everyone who's in their 20s is like, nah. And it felt weird. I was like, people like to look at yourself. That's what TikTok was all about. But not in a Zoom meeting.
It's a very curated version of yourself that you're putting on TikTok. All the filters, all of the editing that goes into TikTok.
Zoom's got all those.
Yeah.
Be a cat if you want to. Anyway.
Be a cat and a lawyer.
That would have been amazing if the police was like, yeah, I'm not turning my camera on. I haven't done my hair today.
Like, they went and saw the policewoman like in person.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Like they've got hostages and you're just going out to negotiate in open air they've got shotguns. It's like, that's not going to happen.
If they've got hostages, yeah. Because there was they didn't show up because of the budget. But there was potentially hundreds of people supposedly there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of liked all that part of it. Like that bit felt sort of real for some reason. I don't know why, because a lot of it didn't seem very real, especially when they went to the 60s.
No, yeah, it's gone to the 60s and met up with Gary Seven too.
Oh yeah, Gaza
and his weird
Roberta. And the cat that turns into a human sometimes. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's supposedly one of the most violent periods of American history. It doesn't seem that violent.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they have predicted the future, the whole ACAB thing feels very real.
Aside from the jumpsuits that they're wearing with the two zips down the front, that was an odd fashion choice.
Well, they want to touch on regretting those Maori tribal tattoos we all got back in the 90s.
That was hilarious. That was a very funny moment.
Yeah, it was.
From someone that spent a lot of time at gay bars in the 90s, I can tell you that was a thing.
Okay, good. We were discussing before if it was a thing or not, and I was 12 in the 90s, so I don't.
And I was a goth.
Yeah.
We had like 7-8 layers.
Anyone who had even a hint of a bicep had one.
Okay.
It was a whole thing.
I knew people that got them when Underbelly was out, like the Benji Veneman, like that
look, the sudden full sleeve, overnight full sleeve.
I've got a cousin that got that, but he got it to cover up the Southern Cross tattoo that he already had.
So he's gone, do I want to look like a racist or a Collingwood player? I don't.
He went somewhere in between. He's not going to listen to this. It's fine.
They're the only people I've ever seen who just suddenly turn up one day with a full sleeve tattoo. It's like, normally the full sleeve happens over a long period of time. Yeah. Like you get one, and then you get another one, then you get another one, and then you get like this full sleeve. But like Collingwood players seem to just come back from summer.
Appears.
And like, hi, got one full arm of tattoos now. It's it's a lot.
Yeah, seems like it.
Woke up one morning and there it was.
There it was.
Yeah.
You do not wake up with a full sleeve. Like that is a lot of being stabbed with a needle over and over and over and over again.
I suppose when you're getting paid $50,000 a game, you got nothing to do over summer.
Might as well. What else are you going to do? Yeah. It keeps you out of clubs and being abusive to people.
Does it though? I don't think it does.
For at least 1 week. while you're healing, while the scabs are drying.
All right, now back to it. Come on back out there.
That's a good tangent. Like, what other calls did they make about the 2024?
They were correct. They kept referencing the net, which is like. Does anyone really call it the net anymore?
No, except Sandra Bullock in that movie.
In that movie, which was from 1996.
Yeah. I don't know why they felt the name to call it something else, though. It's like
the interface.
It's not like the internet was trademarked or anything.
No.
It's like they could have just said the internet, and no one would.
I think they may have suspected it was trademarked, and they were hedging their bet.
Possibly.
Yeah, I'm just no. Did Style Guides? Yeah, it was around that period that Style Guides started saying we don't need to capital I the internet.
Yeah,
we don't need to. It's just a thing.
Yeah,
it's not a brand name.
It's not a and it could have been it also could have been an upstairs decision, like can you not call it that because we might be able to create our own thing called the interface at some point and sell it. And then if we've copyrighted it in an episode of Star Trek, it's there.
Yeah.
I also loved that what they kept talking about channels, like the internet was broadcast.
And old mate, the media mogul, who's like a rich bloke, but also is
Space Elon Musk.
Space Elon Musk. Space, yeah. He was talking about ratings as well.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to get hell of a ratings. What are you talking about? Ratings on the internet.
They're not like ratings, they're likes.
And I get so many retweets. No, we're not retweeting now. They're reposting because it's X, not Twitter.
Yeah, it's all so weird. But yeah, the ratings thing was weird, and that they were calling them channels. And I'm like, no, we've moved on from that.
Yeah, we don't do that.
But I suppose when you work in network TV, you can't imagine them.
No, like you think that's what everyone will want to do forever.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Now we're probably 2-3 years away from there being no network TV anymore.
I mean, there's basically no network TV in my life at the moment.
I know. I work on network television and I haven't watched it in about 3 years.
Even the stuff that's on network TV that I watch it on streaming apps, like on the iView or what have you. Like I don't, because I want to watch things on my time, not when they decide it's. I'm a master of my own destiny. I'm not, but whatever.
I had this conversation with my kid at one point. I was like, just like who has no conception of a thing being on at a time.
Oh yeah,
it's like it's either
like at the cinema.
It's either available or not available. It's not like it's on at 8 o'clock tonight. We better be home.
Yeah.
It's like
appointment viewing was such a thing once upon. I mean, I still do. I mean, probably because of my podcast, I still do Doctor Who as appointment viewing, but it's 7 a.m. on a Saturday.
That's just not right.
But like, it's also like the whole season dumps at once that drives me insane. Like, because like the new season of Stranger Things drops, and then a week later everyone stops talking about it because it's over. That's it.
They watched it all.
The cultural, it doesn't have the cultural impact it was.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like people were talking about The Bear for a long while, and that dropped all in one. And I think sometimes it can work, but it just, it depends on the show.
Yeah, it does.
I much prefer the weekly thing because it doesn't put the pressure on me. It's like, if I want to avoid spoilers, I have to watch all 8 episodes of this weekend
right now.
Yeah.
Before I look at the internet again.
Although I've noticed like things that drop all at once tend not to be the like spoilery kind of shows. Like it's I don't know. I love both modes, but like this the box set mentality, the dropping all at once mentality, like that started with things like Star Trek. That started with us wanting to watch an entire season
that's for
in a
rewatch.
weekend.
That's not for the new one.
That's not for it as it comes out. Like it's like if Lost came out this like now and dropped all at once, it wouldn't have had the cultural impact.
Oh no, because it had great cliffhangers.
Yeah, because Lost was all about the discussion, like on forums or like between water coolers conversations.
I remember
what do you think's going to happen
recording a bit of the backwards talking and playing it back the other way on radio the next morning, like using my very rudimentary skills, which were to go and ask the audio producer to do it for me.
Rudimentary social skills.
Oh no, I taped it.
I
recorded it.
You hit record.
And then I brought it into him and went, can you turn it around?
I had make thing do other things.
Yes, that's my job.
Make word not be backward.
But yeah, that was a whole thing. And I feel like, yeah, we just live in this weird world where the streaming service itself is the thing that you keep tuning into as opposed and stop paying for one of the other ones. Like that's what they're hoping for by doing some weekly, some drop all at once. Although I have noticed the ones that drop all at once tend to be be quick to get through. Like The Bear, for instance, they're only like half-hour episodes, not even that. Or it shows that really you probably wouldn't sustain the weekly vibe. Like if you watch them every week, you'd be like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to watch the next one. Whereas if you're just sitting there, you're like, oh yeah, just get through it all now.
Get on with it. Yeah. It's just, I don't want to waste another night of. Let's just waste this evening.
Yes.
And not another evening next week.
I feel like someone has watched them and gone, yeah, no one wants to watch the third episode. Well, if they think they have to get through them all so they can talk about it the next day, that's probably the only way we're going to get anyone through the episode of this show.
But it's also expanding what should be just like one-off movies into 8 hour.
I don't know. There is a trend that I do like in some of these things, and I think we've seen it in like some of the Star Wars ones, where the episodes aren't made to a length; they're made to how long they need to be.
Yeah,
they're not trying to go, we're going to make this 43 minutes.
I love that in concept.
Yeah,
but in execution, I don't know if either of you watched the third series of the Seth MacFarlane Star Trek.
The Orville, yeah.
The third series where it was like, oh nah, this would have been so much better as 45 minutes. I don't want this extra 20 minutes. I don't know why it's here.
Yeah, look, editing,
why am I still watching this? It's been an hour and 10 minutes.
Editing does need to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like you need to cut, like you need to keep it,
watchable.
Don't Zack Snyder it and make it 4 hours on a weird aspect ratio.
Oh my God.
The thing I like is like if you get to the edit and you realize you only have 23 minutes of good solid stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
You only need to push out 23 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't need to like find another 20 minutes or a B plot.
You don't need to do
But
also you could remove whole storylines. I tried watching that Acolyte show the other day because I've been playing the Star Wars Lego on my PlayStation and I love it. And I was like, I'll watch the new one. And then tweeted about it and got involved in some kind of war on the internet.
There's all like Star Wars. I mean, Star Trek's often bad enough on social media, but Star Wars
same
is
as Doctor Who.
Or Doctor Who's the same. Like there's just so much fucking discourse that it's just like this is bad and I don't like it and there's a woman main character and they're
I thought I was making a funny joke, which was I was like 20 minutes in and it's nothing was really happening, but it was on. And I had heard that it was, the woke Star Wars and they've ruined it because it's too woke.
Yeah.
So I made a joke. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Everyone's right. This is way too woke for Star Wars. I mean, obviously this green woman's just here for diversity quota, which I thought was funny. Then I just got inundated with people who were angry that the woman that played the green woman was the lesbian partner of the showrunner and they're somehow responsible for everything. They go, it's nepotism. I'm like, nepotism's not woke. I don't know if you remember the Trump White House.
Or new.
Or new. It started in the 16th century with popes.
Yeah.
Popes who would hire their nephews, and nephews inverted commas, children. Because nepotism stems from an Italian word for nephew. But yeah, like then people were angry at me because it was a really good character and they'd ruined it with the way they'd cast. I'm like, it was just a joke, people. It was just
it's not that serious. Star Wars shouldn't be that serious.
It never was.
Like it never used to be.
It's space wizards.
It's space magic.
It's space magic.
Like it's why you getting all up in Andor was great, but like
Andor is amazing.
Most of it's just a bit, like magical people doing magical stuff.
The people like you get really angry about. They added a new thing to the Force can do that hasn't been done. That happened in every single one of the original movies.
Yeah.
Every movie was like they brought up they invented some new Force thing that wasn't there before.
Can do this now.
And we all were fine with it. They were just hit with some point where it's like, at some point, someone's like, okay, they have added enough now. Lock it in.
You know what they should be angry about is that there were people on the outside of the spaceship in a spacesuit, obviously because there's some sort of vacuum in Star Wars space, and they were tethered to the ship because obviously there's no gravity out there. But for some reason, there also is a fire. And I'm like, well,
because reasons.
You get angry about that.
Yeah.
It goes back to the
plasma conduits.
It's the same. It's the Tasmania thing again. It says that this is enough progress. We're not doing anything more.
Yes,
nothing new.
I see. We see now we can't lose either bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Now you've just made an editing decision for me. Right? And now because
I like to box you into a corner.
And now because I've said that, I've got to keep the meta discussion about editing.
I'm sure everyone who listens to this realizes there's some sort of editing going on.
What else can we do a callback to make you keep in?
Nicole Kidman.
Certainly not any of the events of Star Trek past tense.
Oh, no, leave all that out. That's
yeah. Why would we talk about that?
It's a really good episode.
It is a good episode.
Really good episodes. I love Dick Miller. Like, great to see Dick Miller, who's been in, every 80s movie ever.
Yeah.
Playing the same character he always plays.
Yeah.
Look, he's found a type and he's gone for it. He's made a career out of it.
Hey, it's just a steady job and I'm just a working man doing anything.
He's like the epitome of the job's worth, isn't he? In everything ever. Yeah. And often in a horror movie, he gets killed for having that attitude.
Yeah,
I'm just a working stiff here to do my job.
Oh, I love him. He's so great.
But I mean, that's him as an actor. It's like he's just a working actor who shows up and says the lines.
Shows up, does the job, goes home.
He's so great. I love it. And also Bill Smitrovich, who I really loved in he used to be for a long time was one of the prosecutors in The Practice.
Okay.
Which I used to love. And he was the gimme that, had the son. And he's really great.
Yeah, I used to love The Practice when it was out, and I remember very little of it now. It's
never watched that one. No.
Yeah, it's so good. Show. It's on the Disney Plus with everything else.
Because there was The Practice, then there was Boston Legal a spin-off of?
Yeah.
So there was The Practice, and then there was like Boston Public, which was the school one.
Yeah.
And there was Boston Legal that had Shatner and James Spader. And
the last series of The Practice is essentially the first series of Boston Legal, because the reason all these Star Trek shows go for 7 years is because the actors get like a 3-and-3 contract, which is 3 years and then an option for another 3 years. And then they can tack on one extra year, usually for not that much money. But after if you wanted to go to season 8, like suddenly everyone's getting paid stupid amounts of money and it's unaffordable, which is why Terry Farrell leaves at the end of series 6. It's like, I'm out. I don't want the extra year. But Boston Legal started because they did an 8th series of The Practice with 2 actors from the original series. Yeah. And they brought in James Spader and
got rid of everyone
William
else.
Shatner and just all these people. I think Vince Colosimo was in it for a while.
Yeah.
So because they got to the 8th series where it was like, we can't afford that. That's like when everyone talks about Game of Thrones being, that last series, everything happening too quickly. It's like, well, their other option was to keep going for another 4 seasons, but they would have to recast everyone because Cersei was getting paid $1 million to sip wine for 2 years.
Tough gig if you can get it.
I mean, also the actors are aging faster than time is moving.
Yes.
There was also that factor happening quite a lot. I mean, there's only so much you can fudge the timeline and do things. So the fact that you did cast literal children in year 1 who are no longer literal children.
Yeah. So it's that's kind of like the weird reality of these shows is I want them to go forever. It's like, you also have to put up with everyone getting old.
Yeah.
And the story's moving on without you. But it's
No, I have no problems with the broad strokes of the final season of Game of Thrones. The mechanics of it. It was it was
it was too compressed.
It was way too compressed. They just couldn't keep it going.
Yeah.
It was just, it had to be. And I'm glad it came to a close rather than just abruptly going, well, we can't do this anymore.
And Benioff and Weiss wanted to go and make their stupid fucking Civil War.
What if the South won the Civil War?
Oh my god!
Like they wanted to do that. Instead, they went off and did what is it?
Three body
problem instead, which is better. But
I think they were. Someone actually said to them, "You know the implication of making a show about what if the South won?" They're like, "Oh yeah." But there's a lot of people who are in government at the moment who would like it too much.
Yeah.
But they did that Philip K. Dick one, and everyone was fine with.
It was really. I mean, that was really good, but also they didn't have any black people in it until the last series.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of a problem there.
It was a little problem.
Just like in real life.
But yeah, it was. I really liked that the Man in the High Castle, which weirdly we watched. That was one of those shows that we watched like week on, week out, and then for some reason didn't watch it for 5 years, and then watched all of them.
I think I'm currently in the 5 years window.
Yeah.
I'm just in the.
Yeah.
I watched like the first episode and then went, and like then I've read about what happens later, and I've just gone, that's the same. Is that the same show?
Yeah.
Because weird shit. That
Shit
goes
on.
really fucking off.
It's
the rails.
like, did you ever watch Fringe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love.
Oh,
Fringe was
the
so
best.
good because it was like, it's just Monster of the Week X-Files thing, and then you're like, what is happening now?
It's like the first
What I
few,
loved about it. It was just
the first few times they're just showing a completely different universe, but don't actually tell you
No.
about it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just like, hang on, what the?
Why is the Statue of Liberty shiny? Why don't
Hang on.
Why doesn't it rain on
But
it
they
in this
dropped
world?
all those. What I loved in that is like, just like the subtle little color hints.
Yeah.
Like each universe had a theme color. Like, what was it? The blue and orange kind of highlighty things. So it was like
something like that. Like
Yeah.
it was like it's not quite sepia tone, but it's
Yeah.
like
it wasn't even overt. It was just like
Yeah.
there was like little
only
color,
notice
the color lighting color was slightly
you
different.
only
and-
notice it when you go back and rewatch
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
it's like it's the same. Like even condensing it into like one episode at a time. Each like episode has a reference to the next episode in the sequence.
Yeah.
And like you only like can do that. Like episode 1 has a reference to episode 2, but you don't notice it until you've watched episode 2. So you've got to go back and watch episode 1. It was that sort of rewatchability of it
So
that
good.
just like made me just keep
Also,
going back.
just some great actors in that show as well.
There was.
Like Anna Torv is incredible in everything, but there was one scene where it was her friend who died, and then he was alive in another universe, and she saw it, and her face registered, "Oh, yay, you're here," and then like, "Oh, you're not who I thought," and it's just like no dialogue, nothing, just
all in the
all
face.
in a reaction, and I'm like, "Oh man, I reckon this was like 3 pages," and she's gone, "No, I can do that with a look."
I was having this discussion online, like about 7 of 9 as well, like because Seven, like Jerry Ryan, like
great actor.
Just given the basically, you're the stoic sort of Vulcan character,
Yeah.
but like the subtleties of her performance, and what she gives in like just the quaver of the voice, or
Also,
like
finding out years later that she was in a constant feud with one of her castmates and they hated each other. And you're like, I never see that on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that there's sort of a mentor-mentee thing going on. You go, okay, you're working even harder.
Yeah.
Because what's going on at work is terrible.
yeah. It's just like that sort of. You don't get those sort of acting chops very often, and
No.
the fact that it was used like the same thing happened to Jolene Blalock a little
Yeah.
bit. Like
I don't think she's as good.
she's not. I was going to say that, but it sounded mean when I thought it. But like
No.
let's. But like she sort of
She
really
played a corpse in CSI once. She was really good. It was a murdered showgirl.
But she fully could, like, because she had like star charts in her trailer, because that's what
Yeah.
T'Pol would have had, and
Yeah.
that sort of thing, and then they just sort of made her the soft porn character.
Yeah. There was like, you got to rub this gel all over yourself now.
Rub the gel.
There was a lot of gel rubbing
There's a
going
lot
on.
of gel rubbing. And close-ups of the gel rubbing. It's like, okay.
I thought she was good in Carbon Creek. I thought she was really good in that episode.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, that was an episode that we did not long ago.
Oh yeah, because you're going chronologically.
Because we're going chronologically.
Yeah.
But even in Carbon Creek, they had a scene where she's got to get changed, and and they have the silhouette of, like behind a white sheet, and it's like,
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
All
you put the dress on
This
backwards,
is-
you silly Vulcan. You'll have to go behind the sheet and take it off and put it
And-
back on
and
again.
it's like it's just it's very like the opening credits of a Bond movie. Sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's just like okay.
I started to suspect with some of Enterprise that it was like, oh no, this has been some notes from the network.
Yeah.
It need more boob.
Yeah. Tits and ass, please. Just they come in crayon. Tits, ass.
Why is Barbie Vulcan still dressed? Why?
Yeah.
Or love.
Yay, sexism.
But yeah, I again going back to past tense, it's amazing how that Terry Farrell's character is allowed to have agency. Same with Major Kira. She doesn't do much in this episode, but yeah, the female. I think it feels like DS9 was so left alone that they were able to get away with not doing anything stupid.
Definitely good. And look, my sort of opinion, like this, because in the speeches between Bashir and Cisco, it kind of sets up this what would probably be the central thesis of Deep Space Nine of like, if push comes to shove, if we're pushed into that sort of desperation.
I loved that. That's something that I had at the time you don't realize. You're like, oh no, this is coming. This is absolutely going to happen.
Foreshadowing of like everything that comes like with the Dominion War coming up and all of that. It's really setting that up and like this is sort of the turning point of the series in a way where it turns into the show that it became, I suppose, during the Dominion War years. And it's like even Alexander Siddig has said like this was the first episode where Bashir got to be something more than Dr. Twink, just like
Dr. Twink.
He was actually able to be competent, actually able to he has a fight scene. He punches people and like he's allowed to be this sort of more forceful character that rather than just hitting on Dax
or being chased around the station by Garrick. It's some sort of weird space carry-on movie.
Yeah. I'd watch that.
So would I.
We've been not hypothesizing, but hoping that the Section 31 special is actually a setup for a new limited series where Bashir and Garrick team up to destroy Section 31 once and for all. Just like a buddy cop, undercover thing. Just like the two of them mini-series, destroy Section 31, bring it.
Like Andrew Robertson and like they did the Together Alone or something over COVID. They did like a short series of them as the characters and sort of advancing their story a bit, which was so it seems like they'd be keen to come back in an official capacity, and I'd be keen to watch it.
I would watch it.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, that would be so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was I didn't realize the second episode was directed by Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, I don't remember this one having that much action in it, because his episodes usually are quite over the top, and then the action scenes are, rudimentary at best.
Just a bit
affordable, I think is the word you're looking for.
Yeah. Budget conscious.
Yes.
I think I never tweaked on that because like I'm only watching them back to back. So like we get to the second one, I'm just like skip credits, skip credits. I don't want to watch the titles. I'm still in the middle of this, so I don't see.
Oh, sorry. Speaking of action, this just popped into my head. The guy who plays Gabriel Bell was Avery Brooks' stunt double.
Oh wow!
So in the action scenes, like he is. So this is not the first episode he's been in. It wasn't the last.
Yeah.
Like he's in it like a bunch as the stunt double for Avery Brooks. Anyway,
that's cool.
Bit of
I love
trivia.
that. That's awesome. So he got like a little almost speaking role. Does he speak?
Yeah, he does speak. It's just
hey, leave him alone.
Oh yeah,
like that.
No, you get paid more if you speak.
You do, yeah.
That's why the hippies don't talk, because it's like, well, we're not paying them.
Yeah. Here's a flat. Oh no, one of them says "far out, man" or something. Like
yeah,
that.
I think so. Yeah,
Like
that could have been ADR though.
Yeah.
He might have been already on contract. He's just the hippie. He just walks through every set until someone needs a hippie on the screen. He's just like doing laps around the studio.
He comes as part of the deal at the Paramount lot.
You know what they should have done is got Ed Begley Jr. As the hippie, because he was the hippie in Future's End at the start of
weirdly, when Dax got rescued, I'm like, did she get rescued by Ed Begley and then he travels in time? Is that this one? And then I'm like, oh no, it's a different guy.
Yeah. Just conflate.
It's the same, but
it's the same
kind
sort of
the
character.
same
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. Pretty much just rich media mogul. One's evil, one's kind of good. Like it's just like maybe they're brothers. They're brothers. It's like after Ed Begley Jr.'s character's fucked off and exploded into the whatever. His brother took over the business and made it a media empire.
Yeah,
and
there
it's
you
like,
go.
Let's go with that. I don't know.
Media, internet technology, same thing.
Same.
That's
thing.
canon now.
You can't declare things canon.
we do it all
We do
the
all the
time.
time. That's we've made so many things.
It's mainly to piss off the canon.
My
the people
God.
that are just obsessed with canon. So
I
it's-
love people who are obsessed with canon.
Yeah. It used
so
to be
much
me.
fun.
Like I have just a whole bunch of stupid trivia like in my brain. That,
Yeah.
And so like when I'd see something that contradicts, that's not right. It's it's much more fun to not
Yes.
do that.
Well, it's storytelling. You know, as a storyteller, you go, oh, this would actually fit better, but it's boring.
This makes more sense, but fuck it.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do, although someone's now written a book, I always wanted to do a podcast about the things in Judge Dredd that became true, because so many of them have. But there's a really great, almost like it reads like a scholarly text about all of the things that have been successfully predicted by Judge Dredd as a satirical thing that then became not satirical anymore.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying.
This is the problem with living in the parody universe. It's not like I thought we were just going to get like every song by Weird Al Yankovic, but no, it's like the Onions are real headlines now.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the bit of Judge Dredd where they put the smokers in a transparent box, though.
We are nearly there.
We're
very
not
close.
nearly enough.
Not nearly enough.
You've turned into that 50-year-old.
Yeah, I was like, shake my cane.
Speaking of your fury here in these episodes, I'm the guy that comes up behind you and presses the button at the light.
We found him.
I'm the guy. And I never used to be until I moved to Sydney, where no one presses the button.
Ah.
And they are not automatic.
Yeah.
And I've been at the lights at Anzac Parade, which is like 12 lanes of traffic, waiting to cross the road to go to the park. And there's like 30 people on bicycles on the other side of the road. So I'm like, well, someone's pressed it. I don't need to. And no one's pressed it.
Oh my God.
30 people, no one's pressed it.
Shortly after recording that, it's like he and I were just walking down the street.
It literally happened. I'm just standing next to the sign and somebody did it to me. Just like reached past me and pressed the button.
I do it all the time. I will invade your personal space because I don't trust you to have pressed the button.
Yeah, no,
I do not trust you.
me and him have just looked at each other and just cracked up. The guy who pressed the button is just probably just going, what the fuck is
What is
happening?
happening? Why are they laughing at me for pressing the button? Is this a trick button? This button doesn't work. And I will hammer it. I'll be like, like I'm playing an Atari 2600, playing the Olympics game.
I shouldn't have done that to the table, but yes.
That's fine.
So yes, that's me. I'm the guy. I'm the problem.
Thank you so much. Get out.
Okay, thanks for having me. Bye.
Thanks for being on. Adam Richard, ladies and gentlemen. He's gone. No, it's
Sorry.
There were a couple of things I wanted to call out. I think we did.
Mm.
And I think we actually even mentioned this on a previous episode, but I don't remember if we edited it in or not. Was I really do appreciate that their dystopian vision here of how the homeless would be mistreated is actually better than the reality of what's happening currently.
Yeah.
It was like giving over a district of houses to people to just go into is better than bulldozing their tents and going, it's illegal.
Yeah.
Well, it's illegal to sleep here anywhere
Yeah, because
Go elsewhere.
their vision was somewhat like the Hooverville kind of idea from, during the Great Depression. But what they kind of built was not unlike Amsterdam from The Wire. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but
I love The Wire.
But yeah, Amsterdam was like a whole, like that was terrifying.
Well, apparently, like when this episode came out, like that same week. So this episode was made and it was scheduled to come out that same week in San Francisco. They were talking about making a district that they called a sanctuary
for
the homeless people. And like people were obviously against it and they were opposed to it and that sort of thing. And then this episode came out and like Ira Stephen Bears was lamenting that it didn't get as much publicity as it should have.
Yeah.
Like this episode, because this is actually a real issue that was legitimately happening at the time that the episode was released.
Yeah.
And like obviously it
and how far we've come.
Yeah. It didn't go down that path. Like it didn't.
But it's almost like, that, by creating it, they had essentially cut that idea off at the knees.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But it's pretty much it. Like there was a very real possibility at one stage that they were going to introduce a sanctuary district for all the homeless people just to get them out of sight, out of mind. And they didn't do it, but now they're sort of doing it again.
Yeah. That's one of those things that comes around all the time.
Yeah.
As a landlord.
Like in my what's the tweet in my science fiction story? I created the torment nexus as a metaphor, and it's like, well, we finally created the torment nexus from the famous short story. Don't create the torment nexus. Thank you, tech bros.
It's like when Big Brother first came on. It's like, that was meant to be a bad thing. The constant surveillance was meant to be a bad thing.
It's 1984. No, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that.
Well, that was the one from that was the year we got that funny little Macintosh, wasn't it? Yeah. Everyone loves Macintosh.
Everyone loves Big Brother from 1984. Yes. Next, they'll start introducing the eye things from Clockwork Orange, so you can watch shows all night.
That's the Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
Well, that's only there to make sure you don't skip the ads.
Yeah. That's why they keep your eyes open with the sticks.
If you're going to invent anything from sci-fi, just invent the happy pills from, what is it, Brave New World?
They did invent those. They're called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. You just don't get very happy.
Yeah, it does.
You don't get very depressed, but you don't get very happy.
Stay in the middle.
It's like the pendulum of the comedy.
That was just
hold your pendulum still. No moving the pendulum stays put.
That's why if you drink a lot on those, you never people can tend to overindulge in alcohol because they're chasing a high that never comes because that top's been cut off to stop the bottom happening.
Yeah.
But it means your hangovers are only half as bad.
That was what Villa had in Blake 7. That was his cocktail. Adrenaline. It was a 50-50 cocktail.
Yeah.
Adrenaline and Soma.
Yes. He was freebasing. Is that what you're saying?
Uppers and downers in the one.
Yeah, sure. Villa knew the score.
Yeah, totally.
That wasn't that's another thing about this sanctuary district. There were no drug problems. There were no, there was crime. There was obviously theft happening and people being bashed up. But it was just like, oh yeah, these are just ordinary people.
There seemed to be working plumbing.
Yeah.
And it was just, much more sort of utopian than current 2024.
Yeah.
So like Star Trek is our utopian dystopia.
Oh, it's not. It's seriously. It's not like the sanctuary district is not unlike during the pandemic when they went, oh no, we'll just lock some people in the housing commission towers.
That drove me insane. It was like
horrific.
the whole. Oh, you've got if you want to cross the border, we'll give you a week, but unless you're poor. If you're poor, we're going to surround you by cops.
Yes,
and
until we build the wall.
Yeah, that's they had that family that was that came back to Brighton and they were all infected and they didn't surround that house with cops. It would have taken less cops to surround that.
Yeah,
but it turns out they were white and rich, so it's okay for them. But no, just one person in a bloody public housing block had COVID, so it's surrounded by cops.
Yeah.
And we'll deliver your food, but it's all going to be pork because, you know, who cares?
Because we're offensive.
Yeah, because we're offensive. Like, I don't want to be a dictator Dan this, but like that, I never hated the man, but I didn't fucking like him much either.
No, not then. No.
But
you can absolutely criticize him without inventing things to criticize him.
Oh, yeah.
It was so easy.
there was that, and then he was bulldozing the trees, like the sacred trees that were anyway.
Oh yeah. I mean, Vic Forrest got taken to to court over their terrible behavior. But yeah, like that. And again, another thing from past tense was when Cisco's gone, I'll let him talk because he looks like the guy next door. It's like, and without saying, because he's the white one and old. Young people, no one wants to hear from you.
Yeah. He's the white man, he's this family man, and he's, you know, not a lunatic with a hat on.
Yeah.
Like
the whole hat discourse was a lot.
Yeah. Would you like this or like that? Neither. And
Cisco adjusting it with the shotgun.
And then he gives the hat to the kid, and the kid's just, thanks.
It's so weird. One thing I had not thought about I've watched this episode a few times over the last decades. I'd never thought about it until I watched episode 1 on a plane and episode 2 on a train. And I had not contemplated the title that it's called past tense because it's a very tense situation.
It's tense time in the past.
Yes. I hadn't thought of that before. It was just, it's a past one.
Yeah.
Thank you for that segue, because one of the things I was looking at, I wasn't sure was worth bringing up was the one of the notes in the trivia notes was a working title of the episode was Cold and Distant Stars.
Oh.
I'm like,
the original script just had Cisco going back in the past and becoming homeless, and they sort of retooled the script.
Yeah.
What it became.
Yeah, because it was originally Cisco going back in time, being homeless, claiming he's actually from the future and the commander of a space station. So they lock him up, and it's basically 12 monkeys.
Yeah.
And it's
or that Buffy episode where she's insane.
Well, that's kind of recycled in that episode where he's the sci-fi writer.
Yeah, I think it was much more effectively done that way. Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked as well. I mean, again, not a perfect episode, but this is probably one of the best Deep Space Nine episodes.
Also, you get some Avery Brooks sometimes seems to not have turned up. But he really turns up in this episode.
He did. Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to play a couple of these scenes.
Yeah.
Well,
you give him something to work with. It's not just spaceman telling people what to do and shouting fire the photon torpedo.
Yeah. I think that's what it was at the start, and that's why he was so sort of checked out.
Yeah.
Then he actually sort of started to get some.
Oh, we're actually telling some stories in this.
Yeah. Actually, getting him some meat on the bones.
Yeah.
To tell these stories with Eddie, his pursuit of Eddington and the whole I can live with it bit with the Dominion War.
Yeah. That is a spectacular episode.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking that was the last thing I really wanted to mention. That was the alternate thing, because there was always a homelessness episode.
Yeah. Because it was a huge deal.
It still is.
Yeah, I mean, it still is. But then it kind of, I guess we didn't realize at the time, but it was the start of that horrific neoliberalism thing where governments are starting to become less and less effective in the face of corporate interests just taking over, and everything in our world now seems to be, is it good for business?
Yeah.
And looking after people seems to not be good for business, so let's not do it.
And that apathy of just not caring that this is affecting real people.
Yeah.
It's these are human beings that we're just
one of my favorite jokes from work this week was, we have a contestant on Hard Quiz whose topic is Australian decimal coins. And Tom asks him at the top of the show, he goes, so what you're talking about are those things that baby boomers pretend not to have when they walk past the homeless.
That's a very good joke.
I've actually thought and worried about that though. There's like, because there is less change around there. Like, people
It
asking for
is.
change is like
The big issue man's got a square thing that you can tap
I
now.
know. It's
Like,
like,
no one has. I mean, I legitimately have not had a coin in my pocket for about 3 years.
I don't think I have a cent on me. Like,
No.
not even notes. I don't think I've got anything at all on me right now.
It is. It must be a huge problem. Like
Yeah.
for people that have subsisted on that kind of
Yeah.
meager income to now have nothing. And I mean, I guess that's what they're showing in the Sanctuary District. There's no one. Everyone's got those stupid little cards.
The credit chips or the,
the
or
little
the food cards.
the little flimsy
Like
bit of plastic that
and-
gets them their breakfast.
or
Their
the-
terrible breakfast with no
Yeah.
cutlery and no
Yeah.
napkins.
But I mean, if they stop the cutlery, if they stop the food service once they're all behind the wall, who's going to see what happens?
Exactly,
Nobody.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's it is a horrible dystopia that we are living in.
Yeah.
On that note,
That's a lovely one.
thanks.
Adam, do you have anything specific you'd like to plug or any socials you want people to find you on? Or?
No, at Adam Richard just about everywhere. And Adam Richard has a theory every weekday at 7 a.m. if you feel like a bit of some Doctor Who, possibly a lot of Grey's Anatomy, facts about sharks you didn't know you needed to know.
Everyone loves sharks.
Like just all sorts of things. Whatever's in my head that week from
That's
from researching quiz show.
basically what we do. Come back next episode. Next episode is going to be First Contact, isn't it?
No, next episode is Strange New Worlds tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
That's right.
yay!
Yes, first Strange New World episode we're going to do.
That's exciting. That's a great one.
It is, yeah.
I
This
really
This is
enjoyed
going to be a
that.
great one to get into.
Alternate Kirk and Baby Khan.
So come on back for that.
Computer and program.
Where the hell are we?
How Much for Just the Podcast is a Grouse Media production. The theme music you heard was the Picard rap by Nikolai Kingsley.
Where the hell are we?
For all links to our stuff, we have lots of stuff, go to prettygrouse.com.
There are 4 lights. Irrelevant. Shut up.
Yeah, we're living in the bad version.
Yeah.
Because at least, with the Bell riots, everything sort of turned around after that. I'm not sure what's going to get this to turn around.
Yeah, I know.
No. We still, well, I mean, in the Star Trek timeline, it didn't quite turn around. I mean, we've still got World War III to look for.
Yeah.
That's true.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
We just need to start a nuclear war and then everything will be okay.
We need to start a nuclear war and then figure out how warp drives work and meet some Vulcans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, when we have World War III, my partner's Chinese, so I'm fine.
Oh, they'll know that you're one of the good ones.
I'm taking his name when we get married.